Hi everybody, welcome to Vhannah's Corner. Today is going to be a little bit of a more solemn, sad episode. We are talking about grief, but in a different manner this time. I have my sister on, my sister-in-law, Amanda. And Amanda, what are you coming to talk to us about today?
I am coming to talk to you guys today about a stillbirth that I had on December 10th of 2022 with my son, Messiah.
Okay. So
Gabby's godson.
Yes, this is my godson, everybody. So yeah, it's a little obviously still sad for me. I feel like it's always going to be sad. But I feel like the whole thing of me giving you guys these grief chapters is I really want you all to understand how people are developing griefs in different ways, and also to show grace in those things that happen. So Amanda, do you want to walk us through kind of how you found out?
Okay. So it's a little difficult really to find out about a stillbirth. You can have some genetic testing done throughout your pregnancy, and it may bring up certain things, which in my case, I did have a genetic testing done that showed up the possibility that I could have a stillbirth, but all of the testings that I had after that showed that I should have been fine and not have a stillbirth. But I did, and what happened was I literally just stopped feeling him move at 35 weeks. Literally, when you are around 20, maybe 20 weeks and up, you should have about 10 kicks from the baby within a 2-hour gap. It doesn't matter if it's 2 consecutive hours or, whatever, but 10 kicks. And I just realized, like, I was fooled a little bit first in the day, like, he's moving side to side, so you feel like, oh, there's movement. But the baby is in amniotic fluid, so it's moving, right?
Right.
So you get a little fooled. But that's really what happened. Like, I just stopped feeling movement, and I knew something was wrong, and I just told my husband, like, we got to go to the hospital. So there was really nothing else beside that to, like, show me that you are going to have a stillbirth.
So it was completely unexpected. It wasn't something that, because so kind of similar, I guess, in the case, well, not similar to miscarriages, because you said there's testing for that. You can't really test for.
So there's not really testing for stillbirth. There is a genetic testing that I had done that came up talking about trisomy 13. It's when you have an extra chromosome. There's 12 chromosomes, and it was an extra one. So the possibility of having a stillbirth was there, or the possibility of him passing away after he was born at a certain age, right? However, what they would do is call an amniocentesis, which I did not do. It's when they stick a needle through your belly button and they draw the amniotic fluid from your stomach and they test it. I chose not to have that. I had extra sonograms done. So everything was showing good. Everything showed that everything was fine. But until that time came, then I realized, I guess, it's not fine.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And with a miscarriage, there's not really much signs either. That is kind of just something goes wrong with the fetus. Loss of not enough oxygen going to the baby or different things. But a miscarriage usually happens before 20 weeks. Is a regular miscarriage, and a late miscarriage could be about 28 weeks.
Okay.
So it's different levels to it. And then after a miscarriage, obviously, would be a stillbirth. And a stillbirth can happen before or even after the baby is born.
So how did the process go in the hospital? I remember when we came and visited you, there was like a sign on the door. It was like a rose or something.
So there's a rose. Some hospitals call it like the rose room, which is like a flower. So the mother is now delicate like a flower because she lost her baby. Or in our cases, it's like they were calling us the butterfly room. So when we were in labor and delivery, we were in the butterfly room. And that just means you're giving birth to a butterfly. They're going back to heaven, right? So instead of leaving with a baby, you leave with a box. And it's hard, but, it's something that with time, it gets, I wouldn't say easier, but better, So they tend to treat you more delicate, like a flower. They give you everything that you need. They try to keep you comfortable, which was good. And I think for me, the best part of the whole thing is I did have to go into labor. So I did have to push him out like a regular birth. The best part for me was I got to stay with him as long as I wanted to after. And the nurses were very sympathetic, and they didn't rush us to do anything. It was nothing crazy. We got as much time as we needed. We got to take pictures and stuff. So it was good.
So I have a question with, obviously we are Christians. I talk a lot about this in my episodes about, my faith and how present it is in my life. And I mentioned in my other grief episode that I could not possibly get through my father's death if I did not have the faith I have in God and Jesus Christ and just, my religion to keep me going. So how do you feel that faith kept you moving in the process? Because I feel like you are, I always say you're a superhero. Like if anybody saw how Amanda dealt with everything in that time, obviously you could see the pain, but I feel like the faith really kept her sane, if that makes sense.
It did. I felt like knowing who God is, if I didn't have a relationship with God, I don't know if I could have got through in that process. And I feel like during that time, during my pregnancy and during our church, we were on the Mother Mary journey. And we all know Mary is for children, right? And it's just ironic that sometimes I would make jokes during that time. And I would say, if God came down now and was like, okay, you're going to have a baby and then he's going to go do all this stuff and then I'm going to take him back, I would be like, but Mary she did it so humbly. And then for me, it was at the end of that journey, God took my son back. So I felt like along the journey, all the messages we got, everything we got, was teachings for me. And it was for me to realize, in life, my true purpose is just to be closer to God. It's not my husband. It's not my kids. It's not my family. It's God. So when people say God is a jealous God, it's a true thing. And he wants you to keep him first. I'm not saying that he was going to take your kids and stuff because of that. But I'm saying it just made me realize all right, once I follow and trust God, even if he has to take away things from me that means the world to me, obviously your kids, once I stay on track with him, he'll send it back. He'll send them back. And that kept me too, knowing that I will have another baby, God's willing, at some time. If it's meant to be his will, I'll have another baby. And if not, it was still something for me to learn. Because for me, my end thing is, now I want to make sure I make it into the kingdom of, to be with my son, to see him again. Before you say it, oh, I want to see my granny again. I want to see that. But it's different when it's your baby. I want to see him again. So, but to answer that question, it's just knowing that God is a true and living God, and everything that he has for us, the word says it can't come back void, right? So he already told us, I'm going to give you X, Y, Z. And I know that he's going to give me those things. So I just needed to lean on him and trust him a little more. And it got me through. It got me through.
I like that you're saying, the relationship, God does these things. He's a jealous God. And to get us closer in a relationship with him. And it's the things that we won't obviously think of. I feel like during this period of my life with dealing with my breakup and my father passing, I definitely feel like God has absolutely been calling me back to become closer with him. Because I've been saying lately that sometimes I feel like I'm a hypocrite Christian, if that makes sense. Because I feel like, obviously I grew up in the church, but I think I haven't taken enough time to truly understand things in the Bible. So that's what I'm trying to work on now, so that I know, what I'm backing up when I say things. Obviously I know certain scriptures, I know certain stories, but to really understand, I listen to sermons every morning. I try my best to keep the relationship flowing with me and God, because with all this, tragedy that we encounter in our lives, it's a lot more difficult. I've seen people deal with tragedy without having a relationship with Jesus Christ. It's a very, 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 very difficult thing, and it's actually painful to watch. So I feel like it's truly a gift to have that type of relationship and to understand that God is not punishing you because he's taking these things from you.
Right.
He's just, it's a thing that I feel like you can't understand until you encounter it. To truly know that you need to have this relationship with God, and that sometimes these things are not coming back with us when we're going to the place we're going, to heaven.
Correct.
So it's just, it's definitely a learning process. But so with everything, do you want to show the box?
This is a box that they gave, you know, when you're leaving with your baby. And inside of this box, it's actually a keepsake box, right? So inside of it, I have it's Letters to My Baby in Heaven book that his aunt made him, Titi Ali. And it does have his sonograms inside and a message that she wrote to him that's in here. So all his little keepsake stuff I keep in there. But in the box itself, it has the hat that he wore. It has a heart that was made. It smells just like him. It's so good. And it has his cape that he had on for his picture, along with his fingerprint and just his name, his date of birth. But this is just his keepsake box. And, you know, I cherish it. I keep it close. His sister is always looking in it, and that's it. Like, this is what they give you.
Well, that's a good point that you brought up as well. So my sister has a daughter. So how was that trying to explain? Because I know it was a little bit difficult.
Yeah, it was a little.
But even now, still, like, how was it trying to, like, I don't know, break things down? If that makes sense?
So, well, these kids are different, okay? So she is just very open and understanding, and she'll ask a question. Like, we told her that Messiah went to heaven, that God needed him back. And at first, she was like, she would break down crying a little bit. But then, like, she understands. And, like, if you ask her a question, she'll say, oh, he's in heaven with God. And she has her teddy bear, and she named him Messiah. So you'll see her playing with the teddy bear and talking. But overall, she's doing a great job. In the beginning, she used to get a little mad. Like, you'll say his name, and she'll be like, stop talking about my brother. Like, she wouldn't even realize, like, they're talking in a good way or whatever. But she's good. It just was rough because we left telling her we're going to have a baby, and then she's, like, coming back, and there's no baby. So, but overall, she's good. She's very understanding. For well, how old was she at the time? 5?
Yeah,
4 or 5. She was very understanding.
She just turned 6. And yeah, she's definitely a very well-aware 6-year-old. If you talk to her, it's like, it's definitely like talking. I don't want to say talking to an adult, but she's very understanding. Like, the kid is smart, okay? So yeah, she's definitely well aware. How about how things? Certain things like this, sometimes it's very difficult. I see, I guess, with marriages and stuff. So how do you feel that your husband supported you, I guess, in this time? And how did you support him? Because it was a big loss for him as well.
It was. We were just there for each other in the sense of, are you okay? Are you not okay? Do you need space? And I think in some relationships, that's a hard question to ask the person. Do you need space? Because you kind of take it in a negative way. But it was more of a, no, I didn't need space. I need you. And we just were there for each other. And we did counseling. And grief counseling. And it helps. It really helped. And it helped guide us through. And the one thing that we got from that we still do to this day is we write in a journal. Actually, we got that journal from your mom.
Of course.
And we write in the journal anything that's bothering us at the moment or just feelings in general. And at the end of it, we'll write, we can talk about this in person, or you can write either you're talking about it in person or we're concluding it in this book. So if the person writes, I want to talk about it in this book, we just have to accept that. And we'll just keep talking about it in the book.
I like that. Not
talking about it in person. And it's helped. And we have gotten closer with praying together. And I think, like, you know, he prays, I pray, whatever, but praying together is totally different. And praying with Maddie, of course, it made it easier. And yeah, that's how we were there for each other, supporting each other, learning that sometimes people need space. Regardless if you're in a marriage or a relationship, you have to understand sometimes that people need a little space. And once you respect that, everything is it's good.
That's good.
It's good.
Well, is there anything you'd like to say? I know there's a lot of mommies that definitely encounter and deal with this. Is there anything you'd like to say to them, like at this time?
Well, I'm spiritual, so I'm always gonna go with the trust in God, stay close to Him, continue walking. When the road gets rough, just hold on to Him even tighter, and He will guide you through. You have to stand firm on the Word. Trusting and believing, that God is the creator of all, the end all, be all. We always say He's the Alpha and the Omega, the beginning and the end, and He will get us through everything. But go to your visits. Go to your doctor visits. Try not to miss them. Know when you're carrying a baby. Now it's you and that baby. Take care. Use everything or every resource that they have for you. And don't be afraid to ask questions. Because if you don't know something, you just don't know. It doesn't matter how old you are. But they're there to help you. They will help you. And there's a lot of support groups. I learned about it after. Never be afraid to go and see, because there's so many people going through the same thing that you are. At the moment you feel like you're not, but they are, and just know that you will get through it. Like you will. It may sound hard, but you will. Like, no, just know that. Know that my mom always says, like, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And even though at the moment you feel like you can't see the light, it's there. Just keep walking, keep living. For me, it was, I still had a daughter and a husband. So I had to keep pushing forward. I couldn't stop. So I feel like sometimes you have to just push yourself a little bit, and you'll get through it. And it's hard, right? Talk to God, right? I talk to God on a daily basis, like, yo, God, let me tell you. Like, I don't know, people might probably think we're crazy, but it's like, I need help right now. And, you'll get through it. It's He sets things up.
He really does.
He sets things up.
Well, thank you, Amanda, for coming on my show.
No problem.
Sorry for such a sad episode, but we must talk about this, guys. It's necessary. And you are not alone with your grief. You're not alone with the encounters and heartbreak you experience in your life. And yeah, just keep pushing on.
Keep pushing on.
Bye.
Bye.